Good evening, Swimp TV fans. Big Pimpin' Swimp TV. I was going to play Big Pimpin' at the inception of tonight's show, but thought we'd get done for copyright, so I haven't bothered. There's only one Dave Barnett in the chat. Reference to the All-Stars there. Dave Barnett has retired on every single one of our test saves that we've done and was a draft pick by Savage. If everybody could just let me know they can hear us all right, that'll be absolutely grand. There's El Champinos in the house. Good evening, Friday, fellas. Let me know what drinks you're on there, boys. There is the king of sleep himself, Horsey, small Horsey, just saying. I'll get the dreamers on early for you, Smuts, mate. We'll get them on early. And good evening, Savage. Good evening, Dimble. Good evening, Mega Horse, as always. And yeah. Big Dave Bonnet buried in the Caymans. R.I.P. Big Dave. Get him as part of the backroom staff, I reckon. Get him as part of the backroom staff. Rum is Savage's kind of drink of choice. Not really a surprise. So let's get into it then. We've got the Swim TV Swedish Premier Division 2 Matchday 3, and this is how it stands. Fallaraki absolutely flying, having smashed two teams back to back and keeping 2 clean sheets. The Anglies are up there, which is not where they usually used to be in. Palatown in third. Who would have thought it? Palatown. We've got Toto and Gabagool, who really do stand out as 2 teams that have looked really, really good. And towards the bottom, we've got Real Life Football under the Kosh and a Walk in the Park and Kinder 76, who are probably where they expected. Pawtucket Pat's probably a little bit underperforming for Savage at the minute, but we'll see how they get on tonight. And Gondor, Mega Horse, I think, said we're the best rated team in the division, but performances haven't really lent itself to it. So fixtures tonight, we've got Gondor against Fallaraki. We got Kinder 76 against Aussie's Other Dreams, Palatown against Under the Kosh, Real Life Football against Gabagool, SEC 23 against the Port Pats, Statenton against Anglies, which should be a good game. 2 good teams, and Toto against a Walk in the Park. Mega Horse is on the Rossini Grand Reserva, very middle class. Champinos on the Cronenberg. Brilliant. Do you go for just the standard Crony, the 64? And Boozy had a Malibus. Yeah, listen, you gotta have an old Malibu whenever you can. Yeah. So let's get cracking then. Let's get cracking. Well, we go first. We'll go to Aussie's Other Dream first with Smuts, and we'll just have a little look how they line up tonight. Couple of little changes, but nothing too kind of extensive. Obviously, they maintain the three at the back, Anchue and Vaka swap their EMC's positions, and Campbell comes in at centre half. How they've done so far? 2-2 draw against Palatown, last minute equaliser, I think it was, from Jamie Victory. Yep. And a 4-1 win in the Cup on ones each. So still searching for their first win and first clean sheet this season. Just do a little double click there. Smutters and Arsenal numbers. And then over to the Kinder Buenos, one of the lower rated sides in the division, have naturally been smashed 1-3, and then did manage to get a point against the Porto Pats. This is how they go tonight. This got a bit of a slaughtering from Savage last time out in terms of a tactic, and they've just made the one change with Berisha in for Katoon. Predictions in the chat in these early rounds of Swimp as we start to try and feel these teams out. You think Aussies will be looking as this is a must-win, really, and they do get off to the best starts. And Queel, the centre half on the left-hand side there, is injured. Doesn't look a big one, only down to 66%. And it'll be one of the two. It'll be either Leighton or Sycamore for a centre half. Smuts will give you just a couple of minutes there, mate, just to see if you have knocked about, and we'll make a swap and we roll on. Can you put it on Swimp View? Horse is not streaming but has a preference on how I stream. That is absolutely fine, mate. I shall put it on the Swimp View. I don't know either of these players. You've got one who's got 9 for heading. Can't imagine he's going to be a decent centre half. 7 for heading. Can't imagine he's going to be any better. Smuts, I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds, my man, and then I'm gonna rock with the lesser of the worst headers, and we will crack on. So Horatio Satmar will come on. I'm sure Horse knows a little bit about him in the chat. Smuts, I think I've reasonably gave you enough time there, mate. So we are going to crack on over to the Smuts, over to the Swamp View. And Aussies are going to try and get the second goal, but there's a last-minute challenge there to block over it. 76 withhold the pressure. There's only one-way traffic here, so one hits the crossbar there, claims for a penalty before half-time, and nothing doing. And as we get to half-time, Kinder 76 just really aren't creating anything at all to trouble their opposition, and nothing really notable other than, unfortunately, the fives sticking out there. So we'll see what Martin wants to do when we have a little bit of a look at condition ratings. I'm not actually sure if Martin is a believer in condition or if he thinks it's a myth. I'm sure he'll tell us in the chat, but really just not enough touches on the ball to do anything noticeable. Over to Smuts, we've got some 7s and some 8s in there, but you probably do think this is a case of just the ratings of the players holding out. He has got the better 11 and he's got the more advanced players in the attacking positions. And those two things combined together are probably why he is dominating at half-time. However, they did this against Palatown and couldn't get a second goal. Are they about to? But a big save for the keeper. Martin just saying conditions are myth. 51 minutes, and there is Vaka with his second goal of the night. I think he's 4th this season. We jumped massively to 73 minutes away from 60, and well, you think it's probably a game-setting match for the Kinder Bueno now, but we'll see if Martin can work his magic in the same way that the Sloths boys are making their mark on the Super League at this moment in time. Falcao there, don't know how he's looking this early in the save. Yeah, pretty poor as he always does. Not really much on the bench there. Katoon isn't really better than anything he's got on the pitch. Potentially get those 2 up to DML and DMR and maybe move the 3 DMCs up in at the MC, but we'll see what Martin wants to do. Just for when Smuts does watch this back, some really, really strong ratings there from Smuts' boys. And I think it's his 4th goal. No, 2 goals, 2 assists. That's what I was thinking of. So 2 goals, 2 assists in 4 games. Pretty decent for Smuts. In terms of conditions, nothing there to worry about. His team are 2-0 up. Kadria with a diag is on 70%, but we shall just keep that. And Martin does make a change. Berisha for Falcao. And we go 3 up top and 2 DMCs centralised. And we will roll on the rating screen to the 90-minute mark. Thank you for those changes. Chance there for Falcao, gets it at the top corner, but the keeper's equal to it. And again, another chance. Kinder suddenly creating chances with 3 up top. Falcao with another chance. I think Falcao has probably had 3 shots and Kinder have had none since he came on. I reckon these are all Falcao. Let's just have a little look there. Dominant from Aussie's other dream. Falcao's had 2 of them, and Sverkos, I think, had 1 of them. Not great. Kinder 76 got real kind of tactics to play with and try and create that little bit more up front. Man of the match for Kadria, and Baka adding 2 easy assists with 2 goals tonight. Well played, Smuts, and unlucky Martin. Next, we've got real life football. Don't think Jens is around because of the slightly later start on a Friday night, and this is how he goes. It's a slight change at the back. It's a slight change. Just laughing at Martin's comments there. It's a slight change at centre halves for real life football, all of which are players that Jens has either played against or played with. Probably my favourite team in Division 2 at the minute, Gabagool. Really good side. Special mention at the minute, early doors, goes out to Signori, who has been really good. And who's the other fella that's been good? Lozano. Lozano has been really good in the league as well. They're a strong side, maintain the same formation, and it's exact as is for Dimble's boys. If they win tonight, they'll really be picking up some momentum, as they looked so good last time out. So let's see how this one goes. Early black and red, although Real Life Football just trying to get their foot on the ball, but it's not enough. And in 6 minutes, Anthony gets a goal. Gabagool have started to find the net as of the last kind of game or so, and they obviously scored a couple in the cup and then scored a couple in the league. So we'll see if they can do the same again tonight. Another chance for Lozano, but it doesn't come to anything. Counter attack from Real Life Football. Anthony takes the tactical foul. Frederickson trying to get himself in there. And again, another booking for Gabagool. They're trying to take the kneecaps away from Real Life Football. We get a half time, and Real Life Football probably did well there to hold back the flood. Of course, I realise I wasn't on player ratings there. Sorry, mate. It's more so that I can just commentate as it goes. But it felt as though Real Life Football really did try and kind of come into that in that second half, that first half, although not much doing. And again, some key players in some key areas not getting enough of the ball to trouble. Gabagool there, some 8s from the regular people there with 8s, although Signori's been quiet, but he did get the assist, and just seems to be amongst everything that this team do well. And I can't imagine that Dimble will be doing anything there in terms of radical substitutions. You'd probably expect those 6s to turn to 7s and a couple of those 8s to turn to 9 if the second half goes the way that first 30 of the first half did. So in Jens's absence, he hasn't submitted anything, nothing with conditions-wise, and we will roll till 60 minutes. Gabagool getting the second would be massive and would probably seal the deal given how good defensively they've been. Flying over the ball with half a chance there. Anthony back involved, 51 minutes. Feels as though Black and Gold are getting the better of it here, but Real Life Football with a little bit of a counter attack and a bit of a free kick there. But there is another chance for Gabagool. The second goal feels as though it's only minutes away, and we jump over to Dimble. One of those 6s has turned to a 7, but just as Christopher does stay as a 6. Interesting to see what he does here. Gautieri on 75%. Maybe be tempted to go 2 MCs and either 2 AMCs or 2 up top and try and get that second goal. But we'll see what Dimble wants to do in just a second. Over at Real Life Football, again, a lot of 6s and Fredericksons keeping his team in the game. Maybe just not enough in the middle of the park to compete with that middle 3 of MCs and then the MC and the DM either side, or the 2 DMs either side from Jens. Dimble is making a change. Capo for Gautieri. And keep the rest, and we will roll till 60. Lots more chances created there over the last 15 minutes. And as we said, it feels as though the second goal is coming for Gabagool. and it's just a case of when rather than if. But real life football, having a little bit of a counter attack there. Cherno Samba with a double chance, doesn't find the back of the net. Will they regret that? Feels a little bit edgier now. Lozano puts one wide. Another chance there for the Gabagool to get the victory. And I think that is Gabagool's third clean sheet in a row. No, it isn't. In the league, yeah, it isn't. Chatting absolute nonsense. Gabagool get the win. 1-0 over Real Life Football. Probably looked more comfortable than the text indicated, but Real Life Football did try and give it a shot in the last kind of 20 minutes. So a 10 for Friedrichsen, which kind of tells you the pressure he was put under. But some big saves, and then we see Cherno Samba with his 2 chances at the end that he couldn't find the back of the net with, and in fact only one of them hit target. Gabagool, not Dimble's best performance, but again just really solid and key players involved. Mark Anthony there, probably the first time he's genuinely showed up this season. He's got a couple of assists so far, but yeah, there's some really strong performances coming out for this Gabagool side. And they do look really solid at the minute. Well done, Dimble, and unlucky to Jens. Over to the second class citizens. This is definitely probably my favourite tactic being played in the league. It's an un-Edwards-like tactic where kind of he's been his Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in this Swemp division compared to what he's usually like in the Super League. We've got Youngs and Sunji High comes in, and also a debut for Tuma. Horse reminding me not to give a 13, but it already must have been dished out. I cannot be blamed for that, I don't think. Over at the Pawtucket Pats, struggling a little bit, winning the cup, but other than that, they've looked pretty. Oh, I already did last week. Sorry, mate. Looked a little bit ordinary, struggling for goals. They made some changes last week. Lucas Neal played a blinder in AMR last week, and probably should have had at least a goal, but it didn't quite happen. So we'll see how this goes in our third game of the night, with the Pawtucket Pats needing to get something, but within a minute, Alex Notman, I think that is, has put the second class citizens 1-0 up already, and not very much happening for the blue and the white player ratings before Horse reminds us. Not really anything to shout about there. The only 8s belong to the second class citizens. In fact, the only 9 now belongs to the second class citizens. Jeff Whitley can't miss, or was that John O'Shea can't miss? But in fact, he does. And the second class citizens have found a second goal before half time. But there is a response, a penalty. Drozadov, what a game this is. 4 goals inside the first half. And actually, apart from that shot, oh wow, actually, yeah, fair play, Savage. You've created a hell of a lot there. Certainly didn't feel that way in the text. But the second class citizens, player ratings wise, look to be absolutely on top. But actually, they haven't had much of the ball at all. And the Pawtucket Pats have tried to claw themselves back into it there. Let's just see where that John O'Shea miss was and when it came. So they're 1-0 down at the minute. And can't find that. Like John O'Shea had a couple of chances there, just the one. Nothing came of it. And Savage goes as is. We haven't seen Mr. Edwards in the chat, so we will crack on. Drozadov with 2 goals there. The commentary at the bottom is exactly the same as on the overview. Contrary to some people believe. Or size-wise, is that right? And we will roll till 60. There's something about looking at the bottom of the screen, though, Horse, that I don't like. It's kind of harder to pay attention to what minute it is. 56 minutes and another couple of chances for the second class citizens. Adamintis with a chance for the Pawtucket Pats, and we'll go to them first, given that Savage is live. Dimble just doing a couple of little edits and transfers ahead of the All Stars live save, and he's just saying, further some bad news. I forgot to share. Mike Burns has turned them down. The infamous Mike Burns. Condition wise, nothing really happening there in terms of conditions to worry about. But again, probably Savage, to be fair to him. This formation is probably a little bit too innovative and is stopping him from being a bit competitive. And you think he's essentially playing with 3 on the goalkeeper's line. We'll go over to the second class citizens, who've improved their ratings since half time, and actually a couple of more 8s in there. And Yuri Drozadov, who is probably a standout player in this division and in this level, to be fair. Miles above Swim Division 2. Is doing really well. I haven't seen Savage, may well be a little bit of an extensive. So, Jeff Whitley being hooked. Wow, never thought I'd see the day. Whitley off for Maxim SC, and then done. And we'll see if Savage's boys can get back into this. Sunshine High with a half a chance, Samura with half a chance, but doesn't put it in the back of the net. You feel as though a fourth is going to come anytime soon for the second class citizens. Lucas Neal with half a chance, but the keeper gets in the way. Filomonov is a really solid second choice keeper, and Lucas Neal seems to be at the centre of everything that the Pawtucket Pats do, not just in this game, but in every game. John O'Shea into the book, and then Tuma on his debut, unfortunately doesn't end it with a goal or anything to write home about other than an injury. And let's just see positions wise. So I think Peter, given that where they are, can be the swap. And then let's just see if, yeah, they're both AMR rights. So we shall just go and see what happens until full time. Pawtucket Pats again trying to get back into it, but there's just a lack of quality up top for them, and they just don't seem to ever take chances. And that is full time, and it was very, very comfortable. Florence and Pietra with the man of the match performance, but really, I think Savage has got to be looking at that squad and just thinking, who's my best finisher, and is it one of these two? Because they just haven't taken chances week after week. For about the second week in a row, they've not really taken the chances for the Pawtucket boys. For second class citizens, really solid, and for Savage, just again not really following the expectations that he would have hoped to have done in the team. At the start of the season, injury for Romo. Let's just put Britain in there, and who's an MC? Who can we put in there? We put Barron in there. This is how the Sons of Gondor go. Leon Britt's going to be making his debut there. Sidibe and Carr up top. Some really good champ classics in here in terms of players. And again, Gondor, one of the best teams in the division in terms of current ability. Yeah, just not quite doing it as it stands. Falaraki 69ers. Don't think the Falaraki manager is going to be live. If you are, let me know. I never remember who the Falaraki manager is, but I do have a message from the Falaraki manager saying if you're losing, and this is how they go. Formation stays the same, but Muff comes in for Arshavin, and we will see how they get on. Good stuff, Championio. Sorry, mate, I always forget. And we'll see how they get on. I think going by the form book, you're probably looking at Falaraki by a couple here, which would put them as the only team to be 3 out of 3 at this stage of the competition. And there is Shaggy Ogo, who puts his team 1-0 up on legs 11 minutes. That's all Falaraki. Do like that pink and black kind of colour combination. Really solid. Reminds us of the Juventus Gianluigi Buffon goalkeeper top. I think it was the centenary one from about 2006, I think. I could never really afford it. I was a student at the time, but I always thought I would look absolutely class on a night out. Probably look like a wanker, but I thought it would always look good. Falaraki with more chances there. 8 shots on goal with 4 on target. Gondor really struggling to create anything, despite having that big target man of Mamadi Sidibe in there. In terms of Falaraki, Championio's in the chat, so we'll move to Gondor first. I'm anticipating that's one you'd asked for, Baron, over Britain, and we've kind of went with one and not the other. So we'll do that now. and we'll just wait for the Fallaraki manager to choose what he wants to do. So as it stands, obviously Danglies are in terms of the eyes of the game are kind of currently in play. So they're getting a point as it stands, but Fallaraki would be 3 out of 3 with 8 goals scored and none conceded, which is pretty ominous and is a really good sign, even though it's only 3 games into the season. Fallaraki go as is, and look at all this percentage possession that Fallaraki have got. Absolutely dominant at the moment. Can Gondor create something out of nothing? And it's Chris Coleman. Who'd have thought it? Chris Coleman bombing down the ring, and there is 2-1 Nicky. But they have conceded for the first time, but then Butt almost in anger kind of responds with a goal. 2-1 as we go into what should have been the 60-minute change, but the click just took a little bit longer. And this is how the 69ers look. 8s and 7s and a 6. And we'll see what Champino wants to do as they look to secure the 3 points and put themselves top by a couple of points at least, with Danglies and Pallet Town to play. Over to Gondor, nothing great going on there, but also nothing massively horrendous where I can justify changes, to be honest, without giving them a streamer's benefit. Kuntic comes on for Arshavin, and we will go to the end and see if Gondor can do what no side has done yet this season and take a point off Fallaraki. 83 minutes, Fallaraki with a corner which squirms loose from the keeper. Freystone is keeping them in the game here, and there is Balak. He was on the booking at half time. You could have been justified if Buchanan doesn't do it. And again, it's another dominant, high scoring win from Fallaraki, and they create chance after chance after chance. To be fair to them, they're going to dish out some hammerings across the course of the season. And Gondor are just the latest team in their way. Shaggy Ogo, best name in the 11 and best performance of the night. Not having to do much defensively, just having to put the ball in the back of the net. Well done, Champino, and unlucky Swanee when you watch this back. Game of the night for me, it is the Stackington boys against everybody's favourite second team, which is the FC Danglies. In terms of Stackington, this is how they go tonight, just a change up top with Hubbards in for Debo and maintaining the same formation and tactic. Over to the Danglies, they go as is, no changes, and why would you? Because they were excellent last time out with a 2-1 win against SCC and a 3-1 win against Kinder 76. Ahead of that, what is not going to be in the chat tonight, and he's sent me instructions. So, Horse, if you can just be on standby for your changes, and we'll see how these 2 legacy clubs of Swemp get on. Handball there from the Danglies defender, Ferguson in there, who was so good the first 2 games. Stick Tofton getting his leg in. Yellow card for Danglies. Feels a lot like Stackington are on top, and there is Mustafa, who does cap it off with a goal on the half-hour mark and puts his team 1-0 up. Does feel as though Stackington are in control, but what the Danglies are always good for is a goal from nothing. Kenny Lunt in there and Dr. Kamalo with half a chance. Again, seems like the second is coming. It's only just a matter of time. Danglies need the ball for a bit of sustained pressure, but it isn't coming. Another corner to Stackington. Felt very, very Stackington heavy that first half, and the chances created do reflect that, as well as kind of the other key metrics. Other than headers won, which is probably more an indication of how poor the attackers head for Stackington and how well the defenders head for the Danglies. So this is how we look. Kenny Lunt doing bits in there, but really it is the goal scorer that's the standout. Over at the Danglies, we've got Richard Padmore on a 5 and some 6s and some 8s. So there's nothing jumping out there for the Danglies to do as per Wooder's instructions. So we'll just see if Horse wants to do anything to 60. Fantastic. And we will see how we go to 60. A little bit more red and white as we start the second half. We'll jump to 60 straight away. Half a chance for the Danglies cleared away. And then an injury for Dr. Kamalo. Horse will be cursing that late click. If I was able to click a little bit earlier, then the doctor wouldn't have needed a doctor. And we'll see what Horse wants to do. You're probably expecting it's going to be Flask Ager, I think, maybe in there as the left MC, although maybe taking the hour off him, but he does like the op. So we'll just wait for the horseman to choose what he wants to do. Meanwhile, while he decides, we'll go over to the danglies and I'll just check me notes from Wooder, Padmore, Tofton, Ferguson, Mulder for Ferguson, and Edgerson for right. Well, there we go. And then over to Stackington. Selling is on for the Doctor. Diop for ZP. And we will roll until full time and see the Danglies can get back into this game. Changes for both managers, 2 changes apiece. Diop giving a warning there, another free kick to Danglies. They have been a little bit better in the second half, but you suspect that it's just a case of Stackington taking one of those second chances when they come. Half a chance, half a dip, and there is Wakube, who does get the second goal, and that is then put to bed. And in fact, there's a third goal from Johnny Hillary, and this is dominant. And there's four goals, 4 different goal scorers, and the Danglies have been well and truly smashed tonight. Horse will be dancing in Stackington in his Dr. Kamalo pyjamas. 64 attempted passes for Kenny Lund. What an absolute legend of the Swemp he has become over the last couple of years. Really, really excellent performance from Stackington, and not so good from the Danglies. Steve Tofton doing his best, but that does put Stackington into second with only a couple of teams left to go on the night. Really, really good performance that. Toto versus a walk in the park. I know Tato is on his way to Scotland tonight, so he won't be present. And he's just said common sense if you need to make it. So that is how they go. A walk in the park who have unfortunately had a couple of results and yet to score a goal. So that'll be a little bit of a worry. And they're flat 4-4-2. Mike Savage's favourite is how they go tonight. I think this could be a little bit of a rout, to be honest with you, from Toto. They've looked really, really good coming forward and creating a hell of a lot of chances with those 3 AMCs. And again, straight away, dead early on, Toto were creating a hell of a lot of chances as they go. We've had lots of text for 10 minutes, which is probably because of the pressure the green and yellow has applied to the blue and green. And there is the goal. It looked as though it was only a case of time before the net bulged, and it's 1-0 up with Kamuna, who I think it's his second goal of the season. I think he scored last time out. Keita in there with half the chances. Looks a little bit better for a walk in the park now. Seem to have a little bit of the ball for about 5 minutes or so there, but there is a chance for Timo Zumba, and Riyad gets it clear. Riyad gets it cleared from his shot, and they'll do well to get in at 1-0, I think, here. Keeper lets it run free, but there's no green and yellow shirt to put it behind. 10 chances on target, I think, or 10 chances on goal. 15 chances on goal is again a walk in the park. This goal for them to break the deficit of the season looks a long way off, and Toto, as you'd expect, really, really solid with Takume, who was very, very good last game, doing bits for them as well. A walk in the park, 9s, 7s and 6s. The keeper on a 9 kind of tells you, it's always an indication that he's been a very, very, very busy man. And we'll see if he, I don't know if he's in the chat tonight. I don't know if the walk in the park manager is in the chat tonight, but we'll see. I haven't got any instructions for Tato, nor do I think that there's anything that needs to be made. Horse, if you can tell us whether a walk in the park's manager has been in the chat tonight, mate. Steve Wright is joining us on a Friday night. How we doing, Steve? What you on there tonight, mate? What you drinking? What's your tipple? It's Mr. Boozy, who was in earlier. We'll just see if he wants to do anything. I'll just give him a couple of more minutes, and then if not, yeah, Malibu man, just give him a couple of more seconds, and then if not, we will go on until 60 minutes. I think we've probably had about 90 seconds there, 2 minutes since we got a half time, Boozy. So we will go to 60, and any changes that come through before 60, we will make immediately as they come through, Boozy. Half a chance for Rhea there, but doesn't quite get it up the line. And there is the second, his first goal for the club. And that looks to be all she wrote. And then just on the click, is a third goal of the night from Mark Vivian Foy, who always looks an absolute beast. Personal favourite of mine and Jens's, and that is how they look. Nothing in there in terms of conditions, so we'll not make any changes for Tato. We will let them roll, and it could be a long, entertaining, but a long season for Mr. Boozy and his A Walk in the Park side. I think the change he made last time was Palin for Phil Collins, so I think we'll make that for him, just because he's struggling and he needs a goal. I'm sure he won't mind that, and we will rock until full time. On horse's preference. This could be 4 or 5. I think if they get one more before 80 minutes or so, you'd expect a fifth to come, I think. And Craig Allardyce with his first goal of the season, and also a Walk in the Park's first goal of the season. What's scenes here in Swim Division 2. YL Red, captain's armband, kind of tells you we've got at least 2 assists, and not quite as dominant second half from Toto, but certainly dominant enough to get over the line. And again, Toto, just like Stackington, are a team that pull themselves in there amongst the chasing pack, with the Faliraki 69ers, who are the standout side of the league so far. Right then, we're to the last game of the night. I think it's me against Steve. This is how Under the Cosh go. Some fairly comprehensive changes in terms of personnel and in terms of lineup. The wing backs are pushed up to winger, and he maintains the one AMC, but actually it's Robbie Blake over Darren Huckabee, who was pretty piss poor the first couple of games that he played. Over at Palatown, we go as is. We pushed up Bellsprout and Marowak, and we hope that that yields the same positive result, yet to be beaten in the league. And that is a big surprise in my book, because the team is pretty shit. Dan Parker with half a chance, Julio Walker with half a chance, 3 minutes played. Palatown do come back. There is Chris Sedgwick. Robbie Blake puts it wide, a lot of pressure from under the cosh. But Palatown do look good value for the odd counter-attack. They are set up a little bit to counter-attack. Robbie Blake again with another chance, feels as though the under the cosh goal is coming. But here is Marowak, should have been a goal, puts it wide, and there is Julio Walker, personal favourite of mine, does put the team 1-0 up, heading into half-time. Palatown, we're always going to rip. Is that a Horsey free kick? Has Horsey just scored straight from the free kick? Let's just have a little look at that. Out of nowhere, Bellsprout whipped it in, got the equaliser last minute, last game out, and has set up Horsey there, the captain's armband for the equaliser. We're going to go as is. Nothing happened. Oh, we're not actually. Magikarp came off injured last game. 65. We may have to bring Magikarp off, but we will just bring up Steve. Robbie Blake put himself about in that first half. Felt like he had more than one chance, but it's actually Julio Arca doing wonders on that left wing. Is Magikarp on that right hand side? No, he's not. He's in that AMC position. So I think what we need to do here is bring on Snorlax for a debut. I think a big fat fuck off Snorlax on debut. We'll see what a horse wants to do. Ones each felt as though Under the Cosh had the better chances, but Palatown did just look like they were in the game. We go to 60 from Steve. We get to 50 minutes straight away. Palatown with a half a chance, but here come Under the Cosh back up the other end. Clark Carlisle, Robbie Blake again with another chance, but puts it over the bar. 56 minutes gone. Pick Beer gets in the way of a shot. Half a chance, left wing cross, swung in, jumped to 62, 72 minutes, and Pick Beer goes into the Pikachu, goes into the book. Let's just have a little look what we need to do. Don't really like making defensive substitutions, but we'll make a couple. And we will do, sorry Steve, I'll get to you in just a second. We'll go and chase the win, I think. We'll go and chase the win. So why not? Over to Under the Cosh. Nothing really great against probably weaker opposition on paper, but Julio Arca continues to play solidly there in terms of his performance on that left-hand side, but bringing off Magikarp has definitely made a difference to Palatown's defensive capabilities. And we'll see, you've only heard of Pikachu. You've only heard of Pikachu as a Pokemon. That's bizarre, Championio. Have you not introduced yourself to the underworld of CMO 1 or 2 / Pokemon crossover yet. It's a whole little multiverse in itself, mate. And we go stay right leaving it, which I think is probably the right call. Looks like the better side, to be honest. We'll see if he can get the win out, although Pallet Town would be happy to take a point, I think. Is there going to be another late goal for Pallet Town? There isn't, but there is going to be a late goal for Under the Cosh and John Porgan, who gets his team the winner on the 90-minute mark. A little bit harsh on Pallet Town, looks good value for the point. Changes probably just opened up a little bit, and Under the Cosh justifying the manager's decision to keep it as is. Chris Sedgwick coming in there with 2 assists on that right wing, given all the changes Steve made. They'll be happy with that. So these are the classifieds. Fallaraki 3-1. Kinder got beat 2-0 by Aussies of the Dream. Pallet Town, we've just seen, got beat by Under the Cosh 2-1. Relay Football on the wrong end of a 1-0 defeat to Gabagool. Port up the Pats, beaten by SEC 23. Stackington with a performance of the night, stand out. 4-0 over the Danglies, who aren't a bad side, and Tour will continue their good form with 3-1 against the Walk in the Park. Leaves the league table look like this. Fallaraki head and shoulders above the rest, scored 4 more and conceded 1 less than Total in second on 7 points. We've then got a host of teams on 6 points, including Stackington, SCC 23, Gabagool and the Danglies. Aussies of the Dream on 5 points, Pallet Town and Under the Cosh on 4. Big win for Steve that tonight. Big win. And Gondor on 2, Port Tucker Pats on 1, Kinder 76, and a Walk in the Park and Relay Football all at the bottom end of the table. So next week, this is the fixtures. It would be great to have one of you join us on Co-Coms next Friday, lads, for maybe a beer. The shows always take a little bit longer, but it's always got crack. And we shall see you same time, same place. Have a cracking weekend, and I hope your coupons win, boys. From Swimp HQ and from Duggan and Pallet Town, we will see you in a bit. Cheers for tuning in.